My name's Heath Dickens. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Council for Intellectual Disability.
Thank you.
Trying to get this microphone right.
Yes, that's okay. You're doing a great job. I invite you to make a short opening statement, and at the conclusion of those remarks, I will invite members of the committee to ask questions.
Thank you. As I mentioned, I'm the CEO at Council for Intellectual Disability. CID is an organisation led by and for people with intellectual disability. We've been advocating for the rights of people with intellectual disability for 70 years. In that time, we've seen some really significant positive developments for people with intellectual disability. It was not that long ago that we were in an era of contain and manage through institutions. We then moved to fairly quickly a really strong recognition of human rights. And then as a nation, we supported this thing called the NDIS, which really offered a new era of aspiration for people with intellectual disability. Sorry, I'm having to do this on my computer this morning, so I do apologise.
That's okay. Take your time.
The value proposition of the NDIS for people with intellectual disabilities is essentially a chance to be who you can be. It's an opportunity to be part of the community, but most importantly, contribute to the community. To realise this aspiration, particularly in a period of reform, we need to consider what outcomes are derived from NDIS supports, not just the cost of providing those supports. By seeing them as just a cost, we're not seeing the whole picture. The intent of the scheme was to be an investment in the potential of people with disability and people with intellectual disability. And cost cutting isn't the only measure for a successful, sustainable scheme. We need to recognise what supports are used for and what do they provide, not just for the person receiving those supports, but society and the people providing the funding. And it's also worth noting that the efficacy of capacity building for people with intellectual disability is particularly pronounced. It can be the difference between someone being able to do some things for themselves, or many, or relying on paid supports for the rest of their life. I think we need to reframe the debate and the discussion around reform and get back to the base principles of the scheme. It is not just about keeping people alive and occupied. It's about helping people thrive and strive, I should say, to have a much bigger, more engaged life and contributing to their local communities. We recognise the need for reform. I think it's undeniable that there's huge cost pressures on the scheme, certainly from people with intellectual disabilities perspective. There are many, many supports that we still need to get right, but understanding what the principles are and align with the principles of the scheme.
Just to interrupt you very briefly, we have a photographer in the room. I just want to confirm that there are no concerns with that with either committee members or you? No? Okay. Please go ahead.
We're already hearing many stories about the pace of reform moving too fast. As I said, we are very supportive of the need for reform and to get how supports are used and what supports provide for people much better aligned with the principles of the scheme. But as I said, it's moving way too fast, and we're hearing many stories from people who are already having cuts to their plan and the bill hasn't even passed. The success of the reform activity that we're engaging in at the moment is really dependent on anticipating gaps and understanding what they are and working with the stakeholders to close those gaps. The gaps between state and Commonwealth funded services over many years has caused huge problems for everybody. I think we also need to reframe this crisis into one of opportunity. This is actually an opportunity to align state and Commonwealth service jurisdictions, to align that with the scheme and to achieve a level of, as I said, support and aspiration for people, not be seeing people with an intellectual disability as a cost or a drain on the system. People are ready and able to do so much more with their life if they're given the opportunity. But if we don't address that, we will continue to have a process and a system where people move, for instance, a young person will move straight from school, and if there are no supports, if there are no planning processes that support that transition into adult life, the current paradigm is to land in services that are high intensity supports like SIL and others. If we don't break that cycle as well, we will be having the same conversation in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. This year, we're going to have a whole range of young people go from school into a service system that is not set up to help them make that transition, nor does it aspire for them to be able to work, to be able to do the range of things that we all take for granted. So, critical that we line all of those parts up to achieve that and achieve sustainability, not just through cost cutting. The importance of social and community participation is different for everyone. For some people, it can be the only path out of loneliness or isolation. For some people, it can be an opportunity to understand their community, make connections and do it in a safe way that can become sustainable over time. For a young person who is just making their move and transition into adult life, social and community participation can be a way for them to immerse in their communities, to understand what that looks like and to start forming their views about what things they may want to do in their life, not just a straight path into a high intensity environment. I realise I've probably spoken for a bit too long, so I might just stop there and allow questions.